picture man. Ain't no lot to see. All those plans I made for myself, I got nobody else to lean on.
Welcome to everyone joining us to experience stories of resilience, hope, perseverance, and joy.
Move over to a sport chair, basketball wheelchair.
Category of Best Video are...
We love you guys.
You're watching America Trends. I am Mary Burt-Godwin, and I am so excited to introduce you to our next guest and to meet our next guest, and you're going to find out why. He holds a BA in introspective humanistic behavior. He earned a third-degree black belt at the age of 15. He eats half a pound of chocolate a day. That is why he is the founder of a functional chocolate-powered company called Yes Cacao. He calls himself the minister of chocolate and a Yesologist. All of those things make me say, yes, I want to meet you, Justin Polgar. Welcome to America Trends.
Feels great to be here. Thank you, Mary. What an intro.
Well, I mean, you've got quite the bio here to go off of. I love it. And I watched some of your videos with your hands-on chocolate making, so I can't wait to dive in and talk to you about how this all came to be. First, tell me a little bit about you, introspective humanistic behavior. What degree? Tell me more about that.
You know, I've always been a march to the beat of my own drums, maybe dance to the beat of my own drums kind of a guy. And I found out during my second year in university at UC Santa Cruz that you could create your own major. A little less than 1% of students do that, and it's a little extra legwork. But it does have a little bit of an entrepreneurial flair to it, which I was discovering about myself, as that was definitely the direction I was going to be heading in. So I created my own major by putting together a set of courses, and then basically having to enroll some professors in being my guides and chairs and just create a whole curriculum. And the idea was essentially like marketing psychology and how we make decisions.
Yeah.
That's a pretty important.
Very important. And when did the Yesologist come into your bio?
I'm pretty sure yes was one of my first words. Pretty sure.
I love it. Well, in most kids, it's no. But yours was yes.
Well, I guess it depends on what is getting placed in front of us. Is our connection okay?
Oh yeah, it's fine now. There you go. So your company name is yescacao.com, or the websites.com, and on Instagram it's Yes Cacao. And so how did chocolate come into it's in all of our lives. We love chocolate, but you have an interesting story about how this came to be. And so Yes Cacao creates functional chocolate powered by botanicals is your tagline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about that.
Similar to Yes being a part of my life and just being generally a positive person. I'm really good at reframing things. So life throws you lemons, you make lemonade. I just make chocolate.
I love it.
From a young age, chocolate's always been, I find this is the case for a lot of entrepreneurial journeys where you're just living your purpose and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing on your mission here on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. And, there's a bunch of things in hindsight. So like my college roommate was a Cadbury, which was interesting in hindsight. He was like,
his last name was Cadbury?
His middle name. He was in the family.
Oh, okay.
So he was like a distant relative. And I was like, yo, how come we're not getting like a shipment of chocolate on the regular?
Weekly.
Like, can't we just make a phone call to your uncle or something?
Yes.
And then I ended up traveling to New Zealand. And when I was 25, on my 25th birthday, I actually ended up touring the Cadbury factory. And I've always just been into chocolate. And then in my mid-20s, I had a girlfriend whose boyfriend before me was a chocolate maker. And one day she said, oh, I'm going to make some chocolate for my friend's birthday. And I said, what do you mean make chocolate? Like you could just do that?
Right.
No one told me that you could just do that. And at the same time, I was working at a Chinese medicine school, and for most of from adolescence on, I'd been really interested in herbs, teas, flowers, alternative medicines, and pharmacopoeias that when you ate something, you really felt different, like ginseng. I mean, most people have the reference point for coffee.
Right.
You drink a coffee, you feel different. You drink a glass of wine, you feel different. There's a whole host, like thousands of herbs and plants and foods that do that. And so when I started catching on to that, I wanted to learn more about how I could combine them to really customize how I was feeling day to day. And, essentially I was working at this Chinese medicine school, and all the doctors there were complaining about people, like getting people to eat the herbs that they were prescribing. And I said, well, they don't taste very good.
Right.
So that's kind of a tricky thing. But if you put them in chocolate, I bet people would eat them. And they just came out of my mouth.
I love it.
And then I thought, that could be fun.
You said
I think
Yes
I could have
Cacao.
a lot of fun with that.
This is
And
happening.
so it was Yes Cacao. And then I did a bunch of custom batches for people. So I'd say, hey, Mary, what's going on? And you say, I'm training for a triathlon, or I'm going to give a TED talk, or I'm writing a book and I need to have focus, or I need to have physical endurance, or maybe you had a digestive issue that you wanted to get over, or remember your dreams. And I did custom batches for about 50 people, just one-on-one, where I was like the chocolate doctor.
Wow. And now it's blossomed into, so are you in stores, and or can people buy you on your website?
We used to be in stores.
Okay.
My wife and I, my wife came on board in 2015, 16, because she said, you got to bring a feminine touch to this.
Yeah.
Which is true. Just needed to. It's for the beauty of the branding, and also just to have that balance. So she really ran a lot of the customer, like a lot of our sales, and kind of helping take care of customers. She was like our customer relations. And we've gotten to about 160 stores direct. So mostly mom and pops and independents all over California and all over the US. And then when I got down to it, I was just really, the margins were just so tricky for a small company. And I also realized that I didn't really know who my customer was. At the end of the day, I'm selling to a store who's then having a manager connect maybe with a customer if they ask about something. Like, I don't know who they are at the end of the day.
Right.
And, the internet is so lovely at creating that ability to connect.
Yeah.
And that's really important, I think, especially for an educationally leveraged project where there's gonna be questions.
Right. Like,
So,
number one question is, how does it taste? How do they taste? Does it taste like chocolate?
I don't want to put words in your mouth. I want to put chocolate in your mouth.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Where's my chocolate, buddy?
I'll make it rain over there. I really will.
We
That's my
need
job,
it up in here. Yeah, we definitely, because, I'm looking at that brain power. I'm looking at the different things you have, and I always get a little tired and I can't quite focus in the middle of the day. I'm thinking a little nib of your brain power Yes Cacao chocolate was just what I need.
Yeah, that one is our best seller. It's the most unique. That one has like a graham cracker, ginger snap, caramel flavor. It's essentially my take on white chocolate, which I thought was broken.
Okay, that's
too sweet, too waxy. All of our bars we don't really need to put very much sugar into the bars because a lot of the herbs and superfoods have nice malty, velvety, creamy textures. We use different spices. That one specifically has coriander, turmeric, cinnamon, and it comes together in this delicious kind of holiday flavor in the winter, but in the summer it kind of tastes like the food you want to eat while you're sitting by a campfire.
I need all of this. No,
flavor is really important. I mean, it's like if it doesn't taste good, what's the point?
Right. Now, do you and your wife sit around and say, okay, what's our next flavor, and kind of brainstorm on the different ingredients?
We like to test a lot of things on ourselves. We have 2 children now, and I think if you can get a 2 and a 4-year-old to like it, that's your best
test. Market right there. Absolutely. And then when we saw the video earlier on, I saw something on your website called Chocolate Wizard Workshop. Is that kind of what we saw earlier, where you're there, taking people through the making process?
That was we've traveled around and done different cacao ceremonies and workshops, and given people experiences of chocolate that were going to be different than your normal experience of chocolate.
Yeah.
And this was at Rancho La Puerta, as it just said right there, which is a retreat center down in Tecate, just south of San Diego. It's like one of the oldest, I think it is the oldest health retreat on the continent.
Well, will you come here and do a chocolate workshop here at Loft 100 Studios? Come on down to San Diego. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you, Justin, and Yes Cacao. I am yesing all of this all day long. This sounds amazing. Thank you so much for being here, and you can be found at yescacao.com or at Yes Cacao on social media, and we'll be right back with more America Trends.